Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you have been here before. Today I wanted to do a pick a card reading on closure. What requires closure? How can you get some closure? You know, sometimes we, unfortunately, especially when it involves another person, I was gonna say person, we cannot get closure from them, and we have to kind of come up with it for ourselves. So that's kind of what inspired this reading for today. It's something that I've been thinking about for about a week now, so I finally decided to just record it. So again, it could be closure from person, situation, fill in the blank. We're just gonna see what Spirit has to say here. So I have three options today. And the first one is the Merlinite Heart. Second one, Obsidian Snake. And the third one is that Selenite, I guess it could be a little Selenite circle or oval. So take a few minutes to ground, center yourself, ask yourself which pile has a message for you. You can ask your spirit guides, angels, higher self to assist. Feel free to pause the video if you need to, but let's jump right in. Hi, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you chose the Merlinite Heart. And Merlinite, we're going to put that guy right over there, is quite, it's well known to help stimulate deep intuition. It's very useful for psychic knowing and spiritual mediumship. That's one of the crystals I actually do work with. I don't work with many crystals. I kind of buy them more for decoration, but Merlinite is one of the ones I work with, and it's very shamanic, and it really allows you to kind of tap in and communicate with spirit and the higher realms. It also helps with creativity and harmony, and it's a shadow work stone for me. So take that as it resonates. But let's jump right in. I picked these three cards to kind of check in with your energy and what's happening right now. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we have Downcast Pride, Prince, very interesting, and Mediator. So for Prince, it says light attributes, romantic charm, and potential for power. Shadow attributes, using power for self-aggrandizement. Mediator, light attributes, gifts for negotiating and fairness and strategy in personal and professional life. Respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attributes, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. And then we also have this Downcast Pride card here, which, if I remember correctly, this is a card of, it's almost a card of sadness, grief, and some delusion happening. And it also speaks to, it also speaks to almost a lack of pride and kind of giving in to other people. So it's very interesting because now we have kind of a theme going on here. Some of you, what requires closure at this time is actually a connection with another person. For some of you, you are pretty giving in connections in, you know, even if it's, for example, a job. You could be someone who goes above and beyond and does, you know, you kind of bend your arm where other people don't. You can be a people pleaser here, which isn't a bad thing. But if it's done in spite of yourself, it can be. With the Mediator here and this Downcast Pride, there is that sense of people pleasing, giving in to others, giving in to the demands of others. Perhaps being the only one to bend. You know, perhaps dealing with people that demand, but they don't give much, and you are the one that ends up always giving. This could have been, what requires closure could have been a relationship with someone who, in a way, took advantage of you. who hurt your pride, who hurt your sense of self, who left you feeling like a shadow of yourself. For some of you, if this is about a relationship, there's definitely an energy of someone who was very manipulative, someone who was very charming, but at the same time, it kind of seemed almost like a facade, and you couldn't quite see past that facade for a very long time. This could have been someone, take it as it resonates, many people watching, but it could have turned violent, aggressive for some of you. There was a lot of gaslighting here. I almost get this sense of a Prince Charming, regardless of gender, right? That archetype of the Prince Charming coming in, and they know how to play their role, but they kind of have this dark side to them that would kind of come out. And we all have a dark side to us, so this isn't speaking ill of anyone. But they kind of had a shadow side to them where they weren't quite in control of it, and they weren't quite able to face it. And that would kind of wreak havoc within the connection, within whatever this is. Because this could have been, for some of you, this could be like a job, a project. It could be a family relationship. But there's a sense of someone that perhaps really took advantage of your kindness, of your compassion, of your ability to give, and your desire to please others. For some of you, you are often put in the middle of friends, family. So, for example, you could serve as the mediator for some of your connections. And for some of you, I honestly get that some of you are being put in the middle of a parental relationship. Like you are in the middle of mom and dad, or you are in the middle of a family member, something like that. For others of you, it's friends. And for others of you, it's just, a relationship with another. And people tend to put you in the middle of things, and you kind of feel the responsibility to fix people, to fix things, and it's not your responsibility. You can get called into things that are not yours, to even solve, to even carry, to even hear about. Take that as it resonates. Let's take a look at the tarot cards and see what else is happening here. What requires closure? Page of Pentacles. I'm actually going to move these up here. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Cups. I dropped that. 1 second. Sorry, pile number 1. The Sun. Ace of Pentacles. 8 of Cups. Yeah, okay. Pile number 1. What requires closure is how much you give of yourself. For some of you, this is a very specific relationship where you gave so much of yourself and it was taken advantage of. It was not appreciated. For some of you, you've definitely been used by some other people. And I think that, when we talk about being used, we have to remember that to a certain degree, we did allow it. And there's a need to kind of take power back for yourself with the narrative that you are telling yourself. And I know that some people are going to come for me and they're going to say, how dare you? Take it as it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, you can click off the video. But there is a sense of taking back power here. How can I, going forward, take my power back in this situation? For some of you, there's a need to connect to your intuition because you're very intuitive. And you can see past certain masks that people wear. You can see past certain BS that people pull. But for some of you, you want to believe so much in what is being presented to you. You want to connect so much. You want to experience the sense of happiness, the sense of joy, fulfillment, that you tend to overlook what you know in your heart to be true. For some of you, you rush into things sometimes. You kind of allow yourself to get so excited. And there's kind of a need to slow down a little bit, especially when you're connecting with other people, especially when signing contracts, if this is about jobs or careers, or if this is about a project. But it does feel like, for me, this does feel to involve other people. whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's romance. It does feel like it touches on other people at the very least. So there is a need to kind of slow down a little bit so that you can connect with your intuition. Not get overly excited in believing what is being presented at face value. Remember that all that glitters isn't gold. For some of you, there's definitely new beginnings here. And how you find closure for yourself is by going after the new beginnings. Remember, not always, most of the time, we're not going to receive closure from another person or from the situation itself. It is up to us to decide that that is what we want to gain and that that is what we are going to do. This is a pile where empowerment is very important, where you taking control is very important of how this works out. With the Eight of Cups here, with the Eight of Cups, it's the energy of I have put so much effort. I had my 8 cups. 7 of them have drowned. 7 of them are no longer a possibility. They are underwater. Let's take a look at this. Look at them. They're right there. They have sunk. There's 1 that remained. But in this card, this woman knows that that cup that remains for her was not worth the heartache. It was not worth her sense of self, her sense of pride. And I know that sometimes in the spiritual community, we think of pride and we can think of it in a, we don't want to have pride. And that's not necessarily true. We always need a healthy sense of self, a little bit of pride. We don't want too much, but we do want some. And in this Eight of Cups, it's choosing yourself. Loving yourself so much that you can walk away from that which is not in your best interest and finding new horizons as you do that. And that is the place that my pile number 1s are currently in. I strongly feel that most of you, probably 95% or more of you, are in this place of it is now time to choose a new beginning, and it is now time to leave the past behind and choose yourself and choose who you want to be and the life that you want to live going forward. And for some of you, it's not fully leaving someone or something behind. It's setting boundaries in place. If you are stuck often in the role of mediator, perhaps you have different family members, different friends calling you to talk about other people or to vent. And you have become a sounding board and you are tired, you are overwhelmed by it. How can you set boundaries in place with those people? Because we don't always have to walk away from someone in order to change the dynamic. We don't always have to close a connection, a relationship, a friendship in order to grow from it. We can evolve it, we can transform it, transmute it. Spiritual alchemy coming in here. But this is about you deciding how you are going to move forward, setting boundaries in place, connecting with your intuition, leaving behind that which does not work, and embracing some new beginnings here, some new ways of doing things. And also taking your time, slowing down a bit, especially when it comes to dealing with other people. Don't let anyone rush you into anything, pile number 1. Let's take a look at the Power of Surrender cards. I had 4 for this pile. Surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. For some of you, you are afraid to open back up to connection, to love, to community, to passion. And this is saying, you are ready to let it in. Don't let the past dictate, because this Eight of Cups, many of you have walked away from this. Closure for this pile feels almost like a decision. And remember, sometimes we have to make the decision every single day when we wake up until it becomes second nature to us. Surrender your addictions, whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking. Take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. Absolutely. Pile number one. What did I say? Boundaries for this pile. It is healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs and remember that no is a complete sentence. If you ever say no to someone, I know that for many of us, we say no and then we feel the need to explain. No is a full sentence. Do you want to do this? No. Do you want to go there? No. You don't have to explain yourself all the time unless you feel the need to. Then, by all means. What did I say? I don't see these cards before you do, but Prince, Mediator, and Downcast Pride, people pleasing. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to be completely selfish about it, because there will be times where we have to compromise and kind of give a little bit. We give a little, we take a little. But this does mean that if you are stuck in connections, or even in jobs, careers, fill in the blank, where you are the one that's constantly bending the arm, and that's what I saw when I first started this reading. It's constantly, you are the giver and other people are just constantly taking. It's time to pull in your power. It's time to learn how to put boundaries up. And sometimes it's just about saying, no, I can't do this right now. Maybe, tomorrow. I have too much on my plate right now, but maybe I can help you next week. How about not this time, but maybe next time? Something along those lines. Or again, give and take. I can help you with this, but how can you help me? I can listen to you, but maybe I'm going to schedule a call with you instead. Or maybe I'm going to let you know that, I can text with you, especially if you're being put in the middle of something. But instead of letting this take up my whole entire Sunday afternoon, I'm just going to give you an hour or two because I need to recharge myself. Boundaries, pile number one, are very important for you. Bee fire, stand up for yourself. Absolutely. Phoenix, how's that for a happily ever after? Yeah, for many of you, you're stepping into your power. What requires closure is the ability your willingness to allow other people to take advantage of you. Sun, paint the sun back into your sky. And we have the sun and the sun. There's a lot of joy to be had here. There's a lot of abundance, happiness coming in for my pile number ones. But you have to set boundaries with people outside of you. You have to be able to reconnect. What's interesting to me is we have the sun and we have, there's kind of the match being lit there and the light is coming in. And in this one, the sun is being painted back into the sky. So this is about you. What did we say? Empowerment. This is about my pile number ones, empowering yourself to move forward and to find the bright side, to find the happiness, to find something to be grateful for. For some of you, a gratefulness journal would be very good. 5 to 10 things. I'm hearing 9 things that you are grateful for every single day. And some days it may look like I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. I'm grateful to have food because, sometimes that's all we can think of and that's okay. Let's see what else we have. Keeping up, immense effort, if I can speak today, and advance. Some of you are struggling to keep up with people's drama. For some of you, this is about a relationship. For others of you, this is just people's drama that you keep getting sucked into. Because I keep getting this for this group. You are the sounding board. Some of you could actually work as like therapists, coaches, and you need to put some boundaries with your clients. You need to put some boundaries with the people you know, because sometimes if you do a certain job, people kind of expect you to always be that. And it's okay to have, if you are a therapist, for example, you can have a friend and it can be a friendship where you don't have to put that hat on. And, we know legally you're not supposed to because of, boundaries, ethical boundaries. But sometimes people think that, you need to take on so much because you can. And this is kind of my pile number ones, putting up boundaries. I don't necessarily think that for some of you, you have to completely close or end connections, but this is a reminder of boundaries. Because for some of you, you are so overwhelmed and bogged down. And it's almost like a small transformation that needs to happen here with how you allow people to come into your energy. Messages for rabbits, service to the animal world. For some of you, connecting to spirit animals, connecting to your pets is very important. Some of you could definitely have emotional support animals. You definitely have a special connection with the animal realm. Some of you spending time with animals would be very healing because it's that energy of almost getting re-energized by being in the presence of animals. And that's very true for some people that identify as empaths. Let's take a look at what animals we have. Goose. Express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing. Yeah, for some of you, moving your body, very important. Others of you, there's definitely a need to look at the cycles because I feel like this is a cycle that you've been in, that you kind of draw in people that overstep. Penguin, the period of darkness that you've been experiencing is now passing. For some of you, I mean, we have the sun, we have some light here. We kind of have that sun is coming out. Imagery all over this reading, but there's definitely an end to that period of darkness that you're feeling, that you're going through. And this is kind of a reminder to yourself. Keep going. Keep setting boundaries. Keep working on yourself. Keep finding the things that you can be happy about. Yeah, you're at the tail end of this. You have the Eight of Cups is what you have done. For many of you, you've made this decision. You don't need to convince anyone of anything. Empowerment, absolutely. Absolutely, pile number one. And again, this isn't about being rude or about being selfish. But there has to be a balance for my pile number ones. Trust in your cycles. Yeah, there's definitely a cycle here. Speak in a language that is not limited by words. For many of you, you are very intuitive. We went over this. Connect to your intuition, especially when it comes to connecting to other people or making decisions. I picked 2 goddess cards. Yi, the sun. You have got to be kidding me. For some of you, you could look up this goddess for certain and work with her. The goddess Bridget is also coming in. Archangel Chamuel and Archangel Jophiel. But this is about finding the bright side, finding your inspiration, finding the things that make you happy, being grateful for what you have, focusing on the positive. Now, that does not mean that we're just going to, love and light and unicorn farts everything, but definitely focusing on what we do have and expanding from there. I'm not going to attempt this, but the past. Yeah. There's definitely an energy here of you're in a cycle of transformation and you're walking out. You are leaving behind the past. We talked about that with that 8 of Cups. You are now transforming how you relate to people and how you welcome in energy and other people's energy into your own life. You are letting go of the past, and what requires closure is your past self. You've grown, you've evolved. It's now time to close certain ways of doing things. Let's take a look at these. Financial discipline. For some of you, be careful how you are spending your money, how you are investing your money. For some of you, if you tend to be a giver and you tend to give to other people, even in financial ways, be very mindful of that. But there's also some closure here, some, a realization around finances. Nature. There's definitely a connection with animals and nature for this pile, so spend some time out in nature to ground your energy. Manifestation. Yeah, you are manifesting. Look at where your sun is at in your natal chart and where Leo is at in your natal chart, pile number one. Even in the transits. Letting go. Yeah, Eight of Cups. You are definitely letting go of some stuff. And as you let go, you are then able to move forward towards the new beginnings. And be patient with yourself. Oop, I had already flipped that. Burden. Some of you are definitely letting go of some burdens. And the burdens for some of you was you were being put in the middle of some drama. This could be about a specific person for some of you and needing closure from them, but I feel like for many it's going to be kind of a combination of things. The goblin, if I can speak, the wounded human ego. Yeah, some of you are definitely working on some healing from some wounds, and you're working on being able to connect with others in a way that is more, what's the word I'm looking here? In a healthier way, in a way where you can be truly intimate and have boundaries in place, and in a more balanced way with people that are able to give to you as well. Abandonment. Some of you definitely went through a level of somebody leaving or something leaving you. Some of you actually walked away from something yourself. And for some of you, the people pleasing comes from childhood. Perhaps you had a parent that walked away. Perhaps, you were not, what's the word here? You were not given the attention you required as a child. But for some of you, this definitely stems from childhood. And due to the wound is why you kind of gave so much of yourself, and you're learning how to find balance in how much you give of yourself. For some of you, Enneagram, if you're familiar with the Enneagram, I get really Enneagram 2 vibes here. 2 wing 3, definitely. Goddess of nurturing, Kuan Yin. Yeah, you're learning how to nurture yourself. You are absolutely learning how to nurture yourself. Trigonic quartz. I am going to pick up the book because I am very bad at stones. So this is what I use. I'm going to read really quickly from here, and then I'm going to shuffle some cards, some self-care cards for you. So it says, Trigonics hold the secrets of the universe and rapidly expand your awareness of multi-dimensions. Recognize the multi-dimensional breadth of your own soul. Remain honest to achieve success. Reach beyond apparent reality and karma. Let go of conflicts. Absolutely. There's definitely some drama that you've been dragged into. Renegotiate soul contracts, heal soul traumas, and the etheric blueprint. For some of you, like I said, it's not about necessarily closing connections, but it is about finding balance, setting boundaries into place. If you can get some of this, I don't know the price of that, but that would be a good stone to work with if it's something that you can get. And we are going to pull some, I'm going to shuffle some self-care. So for my pile number 1, Spirit, what self-care? I'm going to drop all of these. I can feel it, pile number 1. What self-care is needed? I'm hearing 3, so we're going to go with 3. Underneath the deck, abundance planning. For some of you, there's definitely an idea that you can take advantage of. For some of you, this is like a business idea, some sort of project, because we had financial discipline. But make sure that you are doing some abundance planning at this time. Don't overspend. Don't allow your emotions to get the best of you, and don't go on a shopping spree that you cannot afford. Look for fairies. Again, nature for my pile number 1s. Look at this. Spend time with animals. Some of you definitely have like a emotional support animal. Others of you, it's about spending time with animals in nature, going out, grounding yourself. The butterfly standing out there to me, and the dog and cat. Chanting. Yeah, for some of you, doing some sound healing, some chanting could be very helpful. Is a very good one, and we see that symbol right there. And also, look, pile number 1. But yeah, that is all I have for my pile number 1s. If you like this reading, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you'd like to book a personal reading, that information is in the description box. And if you have suggestions for future videos, you can leave that in the comment section below. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you chose the Obsidian Snake. I'm going to put that right over there. So as a reminder, this is going to be a reading on closure, what requires closure, what's currently happening, any messages from spirit. It is a general reading. Take it as it resonates. Leave the rest behind. I picked these 3 cards as to kind of what's happening in your life. What led you here? What requires closure? Any information before we get into the tarot and into the rest of the oracle cards. So we have Colorless Angel, Teacher, and it says light attributes, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Shadow attributes, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. And finally, we have Gambler, light attributes, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Shadow attributes, relying on luck rather than hard work. Very interesting, pile number 2. So you did pick the snake, and the snake is about transformation. It's about evolution. Shedding one's skin in order to renew oneself, right? In order to be a rebirth, if you will. And we have the card here, Colorless Angel. And Colorless Angel is about grayness, not feeling. I don't know why. I do love Disney. I do love Elsa, but that song came into my mind, Conceal, Don't Feel. It's kind of the energy that I'm getting here, with the Let It Go song, Conceal, Don't Feel, when she says that. And it's that energy with Colorless Angel. That energy of, it's better not to feel than to feel pain, than to feel sadness, than to feel regret, than to feel negative emotions, quote unquote negative emotions, because they all just serve us as information. Emotions serve as information that we need to receive. And we have Gambler here and we have Teacher. So for my pile number 2s, a lot of you are avoiding your own wisdom, your own ability to connect to what is right for you, your own ability to trust in your intuition and to trust yourself. For some of you, there's been a lot of painful events, a lot of, for some of you, even betrayal from another person. But this feels like an overall culmination of a lot of feelings that have left you feeling rather alone, rather sad, rather it's almost a sense of hopelessness within these 3 cards. And there's some apathy here, right? We can kind of definitely see the apathy with the Colorless Angel. And what's happening here is you've kind of reached a place of whatever. It is what it is. Sometimes when we say it is what it is, it's a good, it's a good way to move past certain points. But at the same time, sometimes we reach the point of apathy. We reach the point of getting stuck in patterns and in thoughts, patterns and thoughts that are very difficult to break free from. And I feel that that is where my pile number 2s are at. For some of you, you've kind of reached a sense of hopelessness, a sense of no matter what, this is what my life is going to be. No matter how hard I try, I'm always going to end up here. So what is the point? Again, apathy, the sense of whatever, the sense of grayness, the sense of no matter what I do, there's nothing for me to break free from. Well, there's nothing for me to do that will break me free from this. Underneath the surface, there are many strong emotions here. For some of you, a lot of anger, sadness. Again, betrayal keeps coming in for me. Grief. And these are things that are not being dealt with, that are not being faced. Again, a sense of it doesn't even matter. For some of you, there is a sense of depression here, and obviously I am not your medical provider. So take that as it resonates and check in with a medical provider if you feel the need to. But there's definitely this very heavy feeling of sadness. And there is a need here to reconnect to your intuition, to your emotions. For some of you, there is even a need to reconnect to your ability to take chances. To take a chance on yourself, on your dreams, on the things that you want to create. To take a chance on yourself. To connect to the inner teacher, to the inner sage. As for some of you, it's almost like you're being called into a hermit mode, if you will, where you are going to kind of search for your truth. A lot of enlightenment here. I'm actually going to move these over. I want to take a look at the tarot cards that I picked out. Let's see what we have here for more information. Temperance. Yeah, some of you, there's a need to kind of... For this pile, you could be prone to extremes. So, you know, it's all good, it's all bad, there's no in between. The Fool. Yeah, there's a need for new energy here. There's a need for adventure, spontaneity. Adventure where you, again, take a chance on yourself. And we have 2 majors, so High Priestess, 3 majors. What did I say? This is a very intuitive pile. And we have, with the Gambler there, it says willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. For some of you, there's a need to reconnect. And I keep getting this. I keep saying it because I keep getting it. Taking a chance on yourself. 9 of Cups, going after your wish. Making some wishes a reality. 4 of Cups. Very interesting because we have the 4 of Cups and we have Colorless Angel, and they're kind of that same energy. That energy of boredom, frustration, whatever. I keep getting it is what it is. So for some of you in this pile, maybe you say that a lot where you're just like, it is what it is, whatever. But my pile number 2s, you know, what requires closure is the part of yourself, the part of your life where you have kind of decided that you are no longer even going to try. The part of yourself that is doubting yourself, your ability to move forward, to create, your ability to listen to your intuition and to yourself and to trust yourself, your ability to tap in and feel the feelings, to go within and dig out those repressed emotions, to create a new way of being, to live in moderation, to understand that life is constantly changing. That the one thing that is guaranteed in this lifetime is change. The ability to see past what has not worked and connect to the opportunities that remain. Because there is something here that's left. Spirit is handing you something. Spirit is willing to help you look past what has not worked so that you can connect to the things that could potentially work, the opportunities that still remain. Some of you are so focused on what has been that you can't see opportunities coming in, that you can't allow yourself to dream a new wish, to go after a new wish. I want to take a look at the Power of Surrender cards. I picked 4 out for this pile. Surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. Yeah, for some of you, there's a lot of stress here, but some of you have become so numb to it that you're not even really in tune with what you're feeling. Surrender to inner peace. And we have Temperance here, which is a card of harmony. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Absolutely. Pile number 2. Surrender to wonder and awe, open to the magic of every moment, and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected with the ecstasy of flow. And we do have colorless angel, which is kind of that energy of apathy, giving up. And we have that 4 of cups. And then we have the Fool, which is, let's reconnect. Let's go on an adventure. Let's be more spontaneous. Let's be open to new beginnings, to learning. We have the teacher and the learner. And this is what you're being asked to do. Surrender to creativity. Let your imagination soar. Stay open to all creative ideas about how to pursue a dream or solve a problem. Yeah. Pile number 2, there's definitely a need here because we do have the snake, and the snake can definitely speak of creativity. Creative forces are definitely connected with the snake animal, and that was what you were drawn to initially. There's definitely a need to kind of get creative. Step out of the comfort zone, step out of the box, see things from a different perspective. What has not worked for a reason. Sometimes life is just unfair. Sometimes there is no reason other than, life is not always fair. And we have to find new ways of doing things. So it's about letting go of the focus on what has been, focusing on what could be, giving yourself the chance to connect to your intuition, to connect to your higher self, to connect to your dreams, your wishes, the things that you want to create. Because Spirit is saying, I'm granting you a wish. Make a wish, pile number 2. But allow yourself to actually go after it. For some of you, you are so down. Because this is the main energy that's standing to me, colorless angel, and it's 10. It's the completion. It's the closing of a cycle. And this is a reading on closure. If you clicked on this, you are looking for closure. And this is saying, even if this is about a job, a person, ultimately, it comes down to finding closure in what has now become gray, the apathy that has settled in, the inability to trust yourself. For some of you, listening to other people. For others of you, a disconnection from intuition. For a few of you, both. But this is saying you have to help yourself get out of this energy. And this is very heavy energy to be in, pile number 2. Let's take a look at these guys. Expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. Some of you are definitely seeking approval. Some of you are holding back from something because you don't feel it will be accepted by other people. And while it is important to connect with others, and, I'm not in any way saying don't ever look for anybody's advice or don't care what other people think, in the sense of the people that you love that may offer you good advice. Sometimes we have to break free and choose our own dreams. And many times what happens is the same people will come up and say, wow, this really worked out for you. I'm so happy. I mean, I've had that happen. I'm sure we've all had some element of that happen. But this is about not necessarily seeking other people's approval. Some of you are anticipating how other people are going to react. You haven't even had anyone say, oh no, you shouldn't do this. Some of you are anticipating that. Stars, you can manifest your every wish. We have the 9 of Cups and we have stars. And this card is number 5, which is all about change. Creating change. And what is the snake about? Change. Gaining a new perspective. Shedding the old skin so that the new can emerge. So there needs to be change here in order to manifest. And for some of you, the change that needs to happen is that you need to reconnect to yourself. Reconnect to the things that bring you joy, to the things that keep you going, to the things that you want to experience. And sometimes it can feel like, well, what is that? And Spirit is saying it's time to find out. Nostalgia, focus on the here and now. Yeah. Like I said with the 4 of Cups, some of you are focused on the past. Like she's looking that way. She can't even see what's like right in front of her because she's so focused looking to the past. And this is what needs to happen. Focus on the here and now. Sometimes, when we think of the past, we romanticize it. We tend to remember the things that we loved about it, the things that were great about it, but we don't always remember how it actually played out. See here what these two Alice cards have to say. Nonsense. It's time to talk sense. Absolutely. Impossible things. Working through disbelief. Imaginative leaps. Fresh perspectives. I believe the quote from Alice in Wonderland was something along the lines of, I've believed in X amount of impossible things by morning. I actually want to remember this. Trying to think. I may have to look this up. I'm trying to find it really quickly on my iPad, which I have right next to me. So sometimes I believe in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast is the quote with this card. Some of you think some things are impossible and you have given up on it before you have even tried it. And that's the colorless angel. That's that apathy. That, I'm kind of just giving in to what is. I'm not even going to try. And it's time to talk sense. It's time to realize that you can create the things that you want, that you can go after your wishes, that you can live a fulfilled life. For some of you, we have the dragon here and we have the unicorn. For some of you, you have to, at the very least, try to believe in the impossible. Maybe read a book, a fantasy book. Maybe, print out or write down this quote from Alice. And I'm going to repeat it. Sometimes I believe in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. For some of you, using your high priestess energy, your intuition, your imagination, your clairvoyance, and using it to visualize the life that you are going to create. Vision boards would be very helpful for this pile. Look at this, pile number 2. I don't look at these cards before you do, I promise. Unicorn. And what did I say? That unicorn is standing out to me. Indulge your creative, imaginative, and magical side through some form of artistic expression. For some of you, it's time to channel this apathy into art, to tap into the emotions through art, but believe in the impossible. Some unicorn magic for some of you. And then we have the boar. Face your problems head on with confidence and courage, and you will emerge victorious. Some of you, it's time to step out of this energy of just allowing things to happen and take more action. Face the issues that are coming up. Learn from them. Move forward from them. Tap into your wisdom. You are very wise. Let go of mainstream mentality. Some of you are trying to fit in and you're not meant to fit in. You're not built to fit in. It's okay. Not all of us are. You have planted the seeds. Allow them to grow. And for some of you, it's time to plant those seeds and allow them to grow. For others of you, you have been planting seeds and things are just not working as fast as you'd like them to. And that's okay. Give them time. Focus your intent and actions. What requires your focus at this time, pile number 2? If you are in this 4 of Cups and this colorless angel energy, and you remain there, that is all that is going to continue to manifest. That is where you are going to remain. A change of perspective for this pile. I have 2 goddess cards. Let's see who we have. Demeter, nurturer. Demeter is all about nurturing. Persephone's mother, right? How can you nurture yourself? How can you be kind, loving, and giving towards yourself? How can you work with the seeds that you have planted? How can you plant new seeds for what you want to create? The goddess of spring. Or, well, the goddess of creation, I believe. How can you create? And we have 11 there. A lot of synchronicities, a lot of spiritual help. But you need to meet spirit halfway. Lilith, independence. How can you break free? For some of you, independence, you need a little bit more of independence. And I would never say, completely cut off everybody in your life. We are social creatures, right? We require connection. But how can you be independent enough to go after the things that you want to go after? How can you receive advice without necessarily having to follow it blindly? How can you honor your voice while at the same time being able to connect with others? Effort. Yeah, for some of you, again, it's almost like you haven't been putting much of an effort out because it's this energy of, well, it doesn't matter anyways because things don't necessarily go my way or things don't work out for me. Spirit is saying it's time to put forth effort. 1 + 3, 4. For foundations, the foundations that you want to create. Synchronicity. What did I say? High Priestess, you are definitely receiving omens, synchronicity. You are being guided by spirit. Whew. Yeah, you picked the snake. Rebirth. Again, I don't see these cards before you do. That's what we have here. Rebirth. You are shedding the old so that you can be reborn. But you need to allow that to happen. Wealth. For some of you, there's definitely wealth here, whether financial, spiritual, just abundance overall. The Swan. Transformation, trusting the psychic gifts. For some of you, you are very disconnected from your intuition. We had that gambler there with that information as well. Transformation, again, very similar to the snake. You need to trust yourself more. For some of you, what requires closure is your inability to trust in yourself. Perception. What did I say? For this pile, it's all about changing your perspective. Gaining a new perspective. Being able to see the positive in life. Even when it's hard to find it. Being able to find it and continue to move forward. God of protection, Anubis, you are protected, pile number 2. Mary Magdalene, goddess of strength. You are very strong. You are stronger than what you give yourself credit for. And Spirit is saying it's time to step into that, to honor that. I picked a crystal that you can work with and that will have a message for us. Blue lace agate. I am not very familiar with this, so I will read from the book for this one. And it says, blue lace agate connects spirit with intellect, highlighting integrity. It enhances the ability to communicate effectively. What is in your mind and heart? Speak your heartfelt truth with integrity and confidence. Do not fear being judged. Expect news shortly and keep lines of communication open. Events unfold slowly. Return to basics and start again if necessary. Focus your mind and open your intuition. Your life will be long and happy, except your sensitive side. This is connected to the throat, third eye, heart, and crown chakras, as well as expressing yourself fully. Absolutely. For some of you, you need to break free of some fears. And I don't even think people are actually, like I said, I don't think people have even said anything about like, oh, I wouldn't approve of this. I think for some of you, you're overthinking it and kind of coming up with that on your own. And you're not even giving people the chance to talk to them or connect with them and tell them what you're thinking of. So I'm going to pick 3 cards. I'm getting the number 3 for this pile. 3 cards for self-care. What you can do for self-care. Pile number 2. Self-care for my pile number 2s. Spirit, I'm going to do those. I guess we're going to do 4. Take a walk. Absolutely. Write a gratitude list. This keeps coming up because we had surrender to wonder and awe, and it's almost like, what are you grateful for? Energy work, so maybe IET, Reiki, some form of energy work would be helpful. Remember, those can be done through distance, so you don't have to see someone in person. With the state of the world, have to mention that. Burning bowl ritual, and I am recording this on the full moon. Beauty ritual. Yeah, some self-care. And the beauty ritual can definitely help with your confidence. Burning bowl, what are you releasing? What can you let go of? What are you going to release so that you can create space for new energy to come in? I feel like the energy work and burning bowl ritual would work quite well together for this pile. All right, pile number 2, this is all I have for you. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. If you have suggestions for future videos, leave that in the comment section below. And if you like to book a personal reading, that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you chose the Selenite. Look at the flash on that one. I'll put that right there. As a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we're going to be looking at what requires closure. Anything and everything that wants to come through. And, sometimes we can't gain closure from another person, or it's up to us to create that for ourselves. So this is kind of what this is based on. So I have these 3 cards that are going to kind of give us some information as to what requires closure and what's happening in your life at this time. So we have Black Flower Fragrance. The Priest, with light attributes, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow attributes, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Child Eternal. Light attributes, determination to remain young in the body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Shadow attributes, inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. This is my spiritual pile. This is my very spiritual pile. Some of you could definitely work as spiritual healers. You don't have to, but that's definitely coming in strongly. At the very least, you are very spiritual. Like spirituality is very important to this pile. Now we have the Black Flower Fragrance here, and this is all about unfairness. How life can be unfair. How, it's almost that sense of being stuck in the realization of the darkness that can be present in our world. The realization that things are not always fair, that they are not always what they should be, that good people don't always, get what they deserve, and that people that do, I was going to say bad people, but people that do things that are not so good are sometimes not handed their karma or their justice. It's almost a realization from our very human point of view of the unfairness of the world. We also have Priest and Child Eternal here. So for many of you, there's a need to accept things as they are. Now, for some of you, I actually would say for many of you, you could definitely have causes that are very important for you, like social justice causes that are very important to you. And you've kind of gone through this harsh period of realizing just how unfair, because I keep getting unfair, how unfair this world can be, how cold this world can be, how sometimes we can do the right things at the right time and it doesn't really help us in the way that we would want it to. And there's this heavy feeling of almost what's the point going on with this pile. This heaviness around, wanting to create change and not feeling like you can create it fast enough. Some disappointments to what you thought was possible. And for this pile, you're definitely in a dark night of the soul. That could translate to feelings of anxiety, depression, heaviness, not knowing necessarily how to find your way out of certain situations, points of views, ways of seeing things, kind of feeling bogged down, burdened by the reality of what you have experienced and what you have seen. And I do feel for this group, there has been something that has kind of opened your eyes to the harsh reality of the world. There was an event, a relationship, a situation that brought you to this energy. And I keep getting the word despair is what's happening here. And for some of you, you are questioning your spirituality. You are questioning your belief systems. You are questioning, why do certain things happen? Why do certain things happen to certain people? Why do certain things happen to people in certain situations? So there's a lot of questioning here. And this almost feels, again, definitely feels like a dark night of the soul, but it also feels like you are actually leveling up, but you're doing so through a period of darkness and heaviness. I want to look at the tarot cards to get more information. I'm going to put those there. Let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Queen of Wands. Definitely my spiritual, the World, yeah. Chariot, absolutely. Five of Pentacles, yeah, that feeling of feeling left out. Nine of Wands, there are the burdens. There's that energy of, do I keep going? Do I give up? All right. Pile number 3, you are definitely very spiritual. For some of you, you are very passionate. You have this desire to create change, to make things better for other people. And again, there's been something here that has kind of made you realize just how hard this world can be. And that, it's not always easy, which is a given, but also that sometimes, like I said, terrible things can happen to good people, or terrible things can happen in situations that shouldn't be the case. And you are evolving. You are growing. Your spiritual depth is growing. You are getting deeper and deeper. You are realizing the interconnectedness of it all. This is very much about yourself and how you view the world and how you view what's possible. For some of you, you are feeling, kind of left out, disconnected. And this can be very unnerving for some of you because you are very connected to spirit. Like for some of you, it feels like you almost feel disconnected from spirit for the first time in your life. Take that as it resonates. That's not going to resonate for everyone. But there's this sense of this is actually part of the growth. And this is to help you move forward with a deeper understanding of the world around you. This is also helping to serve as a push for you, as inspiration, as almost a guide. And there is a sense of almost needing to take a little bit of a break. But this is saying definitely keep going, because you are discovering truths about yourself and about the universe and how the world works. There's a lot of realization here as well. And there is a need to kind of deal with the grief of what has been happening so that you can move forward. For many of you, you are definitely channels. Some of you could be fellow tarot readers, oracle card readers, channelers where you can channel information, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience. All the clairs are definitely here. And this is about you regaining a sense of what spirit is and a new understanding of it. But for some of you, you've been in this energy and you have not been seeking the open door, the opportunity, the ability to see things from a new way. You've kind of put yourself into this energy of, again, I keep hearing despair. This energy of darkness and kind of staying there. And Spirit is asking that you give yourself the opportunity to keep moving forward. I want to take a look at these Power of Surrender cards. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. What did I say? Some of you need some rest. Some of you absolutely need some rest. Also for this pile, there's a lesson here around what's possible. And around respecting people and loving them enough that even if you know what you think is good for them and what would help them solve their problems, you have to give them the grace to walk on their path, on their journey, and understand that sometimes even though we can help others, it's up to them to accept the help, and it's up to them to decide how they want to live their life. It's up to them to say, you know what, I'm just going to keep struggling through my life. I'm just going to keep making these decisions. I don't want to evolve in the way that perhaps you are guiding me to. I don't want to take the advice that's being given to me. For some of you, you're so spiritual and you're trying to help others, but there's a need to give the information only if it is asked for, and to hold space for people to be in whatever path, on whatever path they are on, or be at whatever stage they are on, and allow them to remain there for as long as they need to. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes. I absolutely understand that, pile number 3. Surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you are afraid of a change in your job, your health, or relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. It's very interesting that we now have fear of change and we have determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. For some of you, you are definitely growing, maturing, and you are already very mature. I do feel that for the grand majority of you. But it's time to honor your cycles and other people's cycles. Surrender obsessive overthinking, thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. Some of you need to take a break. And I kind of keep getting, for some of you in this pile, taking a break and getting some rest, letting things kind of move as they will, and not trying to control the situation. Surrender to spirit. Once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. You're very spiritual, pile number 3. And some of you have kind of lost a little bit of faith in spirit because of something. And this is what requires closure. You need to be able to trust that you can only do but so much, that we can only control but so much, that we can only decide but so much, that there are many things that are always going to be evolving, and that there are some things that are just not in our control. Let's take a look at these guys. Spaceship. Don't be afraid to sing. Feast. Slow down and celebrate yourself. Yeah, absolutely. There's a need to kind of slow down. This is a message. It's very interesting because it's keep going, but allow yourself to slow down in the process. You don't have to race to the finish line. You can take your time. Castle. It's time for healing, not war. For some of you, if you are being triggered by decisions other people are making, by the fact that perhaps they're not listening, taking your advice, and that you are trying to help them and do what's best for them, turn that inward. What within you requires healing? What about them is triggering you? For this pile, it's a lot of introspection. Acceptance and introspection for this pile. You guys had an extra card from this deck. Law is not justice. Rules that are not fair. What did I say? There's a sense of something not being fair here. And it's almost coming to terms with the fact that life is not always fair. And that we can't always predict or control how things are going to, the outcome of things. Painting the red roses, covering up errors. Yeah, there's definitely feelings of anger underneath the surface, grief over the realization of something. It's going to be different for many, for all of you. There's many people watching this, different messages for different people. Falling, the unknown, descent, momentum, change. Yeah. For some of you, you're definitely feeling a little bit lost, like you're descending into the unknown. For some of you, there's definitely some shadow work stuff happening here. Because I feel like this is the archetype for many of you, the child eternal. And it's almost this very hard realization, difficult time realizing, again, that not everything is fair. That just because you do the right things does not mean that your desired outcome is always going to be possible. That because you deserve or someone else deserves justice, it's not always going to come in the way that we think it should or how in the time frame that we think it should. Let's take a look at the two animals for this pile. Elk, and it says stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect that you deserve. Octopus, practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. For some of you, spiritual shape-shifting is something to look into. Ted Andrews, I believe that's his name, Ted Andrews, Animal Speak is a very good book on it. Ted Andrews also has the shape-shifting book. It's one of my favorites on the subject if you want to take a look at that. But there's also, when we shapeshift, it's about gaining perspective. When I did my shamanism training course, one of the things that was said to us was, you always want to shapeshift. Not only, when we think of animals, we all want to work with the lion, the tiger, the panthers, the bears, the big guys, right? But it's so important to take in the perspective of perhaps, the ant, the mice. Not always being predator, but being prey as well. Getting all sides of the perspective and being in that energy. And for my pile number 3s, integrity means a lot to you. Maintain your dignity. Demand the respect that you deserve. But also pile number 3, lovingly and respectfully, make sure that you are giving it as well. Understand that we don't always know what the perfect outcome is. Because this is a very deep message. This is, like I said, this is a very spiritual pile. And sometimes what we think would be in perfect or divine order is actually not. And there is a higher plan for that. And we sometimes have to learn to trust that. You are not a victim of the systems in place, pile number 3. You have earned your stripes. Trust yourself. Absolutely. What are you holding on to and why? Some of you, letting go, releasing. Very important. Trusting yourself. And remember that you are not a victim. Empowering yourself to view this from a place of empowerment. Iris, communication. Some of you need to communicate with others, express yourself, your needs. Throat chakra coming in as important. Caradwin, potential. There is so much for potential for this pile. But there's also a need to release certain expectations. Yeah, I'm getting that. Releasing expectations of how things should be, how they should unfold, how they should show up in the world. And remember, you are not a victim of the systems in place. You can create change, but change isn't always fast. It doesn't always look the way that we want it to look. Make sure that you are communicating with other people around you. Make sure that you are communicating with yourself and making sure that your needs are being met. Some of you really need to take a break. Patience. What did I say? Sometimes things don't happen as fast as we think they should, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. Surrender. Letting go. Absolutely. Completion. And we did have 9, 9. I believe we had another 9 here somewhere. But definitely the energy of closing cycles. Is this? Yeah, we had the World, which is all about completion. Allowing things to close, allowing things to evolve. Probably shouldn't have picked that from under there. Let's take a look at what we have here. The Dragon, power, strength. For some of you, shape-shifting, spiritual shape-shifting and working with the dragon energy. If anyone needs suggestions for books, just leave it in the comment section and I will get back to you. But definitely working with stepping into your power, your strength, and realizing that divine order is not always what we think it should be. That things are perfectly imperfect and that things work out in how they should. And that there is a higher purpose. Disruption. Yeah, some of you have experienced some sort of disruption. Feels like things were perhaps flowing and you were in kind of tune with what you thought and what you believed. And there's kind of been some questioning that has come up, and it was meant to. The Novice. Innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skill without practice, unstable curiosity. For some of you, you are stepping back into the novice. Some of you were almost an expert, or you were very sure of yourself, and you are re-stepping into that energy of the novice. And Spirit is saying it's about learning, relearning. Don't be afraid to go back to the beginning, to restart. Don't be afraid to be curious and explore. For many of you, this is about spirituality. Protection, again, I'm pretty sure we had protection here. Yeah, we definitely had protection in this pile. You are protected. All is well. You could be seeing 1111. 6 or 7 is what I'm getting. Shadow aspect. Yeah, for some of you, you're in the dark night of the soul and the shadow is coming up to be healed. God of transformation. Cyrus. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of transformation and it feels like internal, spiritual, and belief systems. I picked this crystal card to kind of give you a stone to work with and also a message. Lavender Aragonite. And I am going to grab the book for these. I suck at crystals and stones, so that is where the deck is from. 1 second while I open it. All right, so it says Lavender Aragonite heals your personal environment and Earth's meridian grid and raises the vibration of the planet. Become a vehicle for the healing of the environment by opening yourself up to higher vibrational energies. Do not participate in anything that despoils the planet or diminishes its resources. Work with your power animal and nourish your inner being. Take no risk and avoid excess. If your environment is unhealthy and disharmonious, it cannot support well-being. Transform it and well-being returns. Very interesting because this pile you chose the Selenite and that's a very cleansing stone, right? It's all about cleansing, healing, transforming, transmuting. So for this pile, you are definitely growing, transforming your energy. And you're reaching higher levels of consciousness and higher levels of spirituality. But it could feel uncomfortable because what you thought you knew is not actually perhaps exactly what you know, your truth is evolving is what I should say. So let's pick, I'm getting 3 for this pile. Let's pick 3 cards for self-care, what you can do for self-care at this time as you work through this closure cycle. Bottom of the deck energy, connect with your womb if you have one. If you do not connect with your creativity, because we do have many people that watch these videos. Chanting, another pile got this as well. So if you were considering another pile, there may be a message for you, but definitely chanting, could be one. Chanting Sanskrit mantras or just affirmations that connect with you. And I do feel it would be very spiritual for this group to connect, and it would help your throat chakra. For some of you, there's definitely a need to be more in the body. Find what brings you pleasure. I'm not going to say it because YouTube is picky. And for others of you, spending time with friends, connecting with people. You know, if you can't do it in person, it's a timeless reading. But as I'm recording this, there's still some stuff going on around the world. Maybe a Zoom meeting, connecting through phone, internet, text messages, fill in the blank. But definitely doing some chanting, connecting with the body, connecting with a partner, connecting with self, finding pleasure, whatever that means for you. Spending time with friends, and actually we had these 2. What a combination here, because we have connect with your womb as well. And sweet treats. Treat yourself to something sweet. Because I think this pile will definitely benefit from that. All right, pile number 3, that is all I have for you. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have suggestions for future videos, leave that in the comment section below. And if you'd like to book a personal reading, that information can be found in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.